Okay, hello, audience. My name is Barbara Cooper. I would like to educate you just a little bit on our Scandinavian Christmas traditions. Have you ever really just wondered about somebody else's traditions that they have at home? Have you ever wondered what makes them so different than other people's? Well, I'm of Scandinavian, Norwegian, Finnish, Swedish descent, and we have some traditions that we would like to show you. And for starters, I'd like to ask you raise your hand if you've ever heard of Thor. Have you ever watched a movie that Thor was in? Have you ever knew about any of his family, such as Odin or Loki?
Not really.
Okay, well, some of our Scandinavian traditions are based off of the Norse gods that were pre-Christian date, from 900 to about 1000 CE. During that time, we learned a lot of history on the 19th and 20th centuries about the Vikings. If you've ever heard of Vikings, some people used to say that they were dehumanized and labeled as barbaric beings. They were also raiding homes, and this was a myth as far as myth fact basis goes, and they were very humble and noble, as the Queen decided this after giving them back their status. And you might be asking, what does this have to do with the presentation I'm currently doing? Foundation of the celebration originated from the Norse gods and was laid by handcrafted ideas using metals, woods, and sometimes the homes with the people in them had limited resources, which led them to doing all the handcrafting. During this time, most of the traditional homes did not have religion based because they were in a pagan era and believed in gods instead of Christ as being born on the Christmas holiday, which is what we're going to go through. Holiday traditional things that go on your trees, such as fruit, little goats that Thor rode on his chariot. And first we need to go through a little bit of history. Our Christmas is not actually called Christmas, it's called Yuletide or Christmastide, and it's made of German name prior to Christian era and during the winter solstice, which begins with the longest night of the year. Every year, Norway gives the UK a Christmas tree, one of their biggest of fir, in thankfulness of help during their World War II. Also, the pagans do not celebrate at that point, or a lot of them don't celebrate today, because it is actually, they aren't connected with the birth of Christ being on Christmas. They're concerned more with the Christmas tree that connects the seven worlds. The Christmas tree that's so special to the Scandinavian, Norwegian, Finnish, or even Icelandic people use candied peel, fruits, and wooden ornaments on their trees. Children usually make jewelry, which is a heart-shaped basket, and they participate in making gold stars. They also enjoy dressing up as shepherds and wise men, singing carols to the neighbors. Some Norwegians believe in Nis, which are hobgoblins or gnomes, and they're there to protect the farm animals, and Santa Claus, which is called Julenissen, is also there to help protect as well. Do you have any idea what type of foods Norwegian people eat? Not a clue?
Fish.
Fish. Halibut is one of the traditional foods that they eat, and they also eat mutton ribs, which is lamb, or shredded pork served with sauerkraut, potatoes, red or white cabbage. And this is traditional for the Christmas day.
I know you cooked peppercocker cookies.
Yes, peppercocker are cookies, and they're ginger cookies, if you were to translate it into English. The jewel cake is actually almost like what you would call breadsticks here, with a little twist. They have raisins in them, candied peel, and cardamom. When I usually make them, I use my grandmother's croissant recipe, which was handed to her from my aunt, Ethel. And when I make them, I use the bread recipe and mix it with the original traditional Swedish bread, and it comes out to have a very sweet and spicy, delicate taste that kind of coordinate really well together. The peppercocker cookies we usually do with the kids and make little different shapes so they can have fun with it, and they're ginger, cinnamon, and cardamom also added into those, so it's a little bit of a spicy taste. There are songs that the children sing. Some adults grew up learning them, which is the Mouse Song that originated from 1946. It describes a mother mouse and a father mouse describing to their young children mouse about mouse traps and how to stay away from them. There's also the Sancta Lucia choir that begins the celebrations on December 13th, which is Sancta Lucia is more like a Virgin Mary in American words, and the celebration of the Sancta Lucia festivities start on December 13th and go throughout Christmas Day. If you're not familiar with who Sancta Lucia is, you can look that up more on YouTube videos, and you'll see an entire choir, and you can find that at luciamorgan.com, which will lead you directly to the Sancta Lucia festival that they have. What is done in traditional homes are the eldest girl of the family will dress up in a white robe with a red sash around her waist and a crown full of lights, which are candles. Because of the safety of putting actual real candles, we would use like battery operated candles. The song that they are singing is called Free Pajord, and then they will do basically in a church or a big hall to where everyone could be placed inside there to watch it, and it's very popular among the traditional Swedish or Norwegian homes. There's also something called a Julbakken, which is Thor's goats. And these are interesting characters because they could be good or they could be bad. And the reason that they could be good or they can be bad is, if you remember in the beginning, we talked about Thor. His brother Loki at some point became a trickster and would pop himself into the goat and play tricks on all of the people of the little village that they were in. And throughout the generations into the 19th and 20th century, some would say that young men would go door to door, and they would put one of these Julbakken goats on their neighbor's front porch, start singing carols, and then they would disappear. So once the door was opened, they wouldn't see anybody, and that's where the Julbakken got the original name to be the bad guy. But in all reality, he was actually a good spirit that was supposed to be invisible, that carried the chariot of Thor throughout the sky. And also from that, we determined that Santa Claus of the America and Thor carrying his chariot of goats were somewhat similar. Okay, so in conclusion, I would like to remember that the Norwegian had the traditions that were prior to Christianity, and they were of Germanic origin. the Vikings and Norse gods played a great role in where our decorations came from. Norway was actually transformed to Christianity during King Haakon's ruling from 950 to 1000 CE, who spread kindness and forced the Norwegians to eliminate their narrow-minded, hateful characteristics. During the 12th century, Gothic cathedral churches were built with dragon heads placed on the roofs to reflect a symbol of strength and power. Can you imagine what a pre-Christian world would have been like without God guiding us? And how do you think the world would be today? Any questions? Okay.
Peppercock cookies?
Peppercocker cookies. Well, I can't make them today here, but I can show you one of the crafts that are supposed to be placed in your window. And I have my supplies here. We are going to need a wire ring, or one that I have right here. I've already prepared. This is a wire ring, and I've put some of the tulle, the white tulle, around it. And then we've also have these candles that are battery operated. We're going to use one of those and attach it with wire cutters, wire and string, and then we're going to wrap it around. We're going to use some Swedish ivy from the dollar store or any type of store that you need. And basically what we're going to do is, can you see that okay?
I can, but the video can't.
Okay. All right, cameraman, get back on the track over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is just take one of our leaves and we are just going to wrap it around, and then we will make sure that it stays together with our wire, our floral wire. And then we will take another one and wrap that around and put this also in our floral wire. And then we hang this from our windows. And if you could see that, we are all finished. And there you have a Scandinavian wreath that you can hang from your window, and you can also have your children help make it. Make as many as you like, decorate any way you like. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, well, you, both of you, all of you, audience, classmates, teachers, have a great holiday, and try to look up the mouse song, because that's very interesting, which is what I'm going to leave my guests with right now to take home with them. So, just something a little bit for Christmas. You guys are gonna like this. As soon as I can find it.
Put the camera back on. Flip the